Hey y'all, it's Day. So I'm going to be doing another reading for us today, and I am using the Astro Soul Oracle deck. If you want to contribute to my readings, you can do so by visiting my Amazon list down below in the comment section. If you're interested in learning more about my readings and my perspective, you can visit my website, which will also be in the comment section. Um, what else I was gonna say? Also, if you receive the message, like the message. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So, angels, guides, ancestors, God source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Please continue to guide and protect us as we walk our path. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I do feel like a lot of gratitude, or being in a space where someone feels like their needs are being met. So they feel like physically satiated, or they feel full, they feel fulfilled, feel satisfied. And there's this energy of exercising, actually trying to feel that feeling, whatever scenario has to be created for you to feel that. Could be very power, and I'm hearing the word essential. I was gonna say powerful, but spiritual team said um, essential. So it's essential for this, I guess, the upcoming transits. It feels like the upcoming 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. On the fourth week, we'll be closing this particular challenge or transition. But exercising, putting yourself in a space where you can imagine. It's just like sometimes people are like, I can't even imagine, you know, what not having to work would look like. Like I couldn't even imagine not um not having to worry about finances. Like I couldn't even imagine graduating or performing in front of this panel, or speaking up regarding this topic. Like I couldn't even imagine that. So a lot of these actions feel like really brave. They feel like you're putting yourself out there. You're extending your neck out, with this idea that even if nobody else really agrees, or even if even if it's spontaneous, I'm hearing, like you weren't expecting it, or even if in that moment you feel unprepared, that when you get that call to answer it, basically. So it seems like spiritual team is about to start calling people again. Like every now and then, people will experience being really inspired, or having all these ideas, or having the energy for that particular day to fill out job applications, or that particular day that you just took the time to journal something. A lot of times when we're trying to reach our goals, like it is good to have a routine, but not everything has to be on a routine. Even if you only write in your journal like once a year for a specific topic, that's okay. But you just have to find your own routine, or lack thereof. Um, is coming up. Okay, so we have Scorpio upright, we have the eighth house in reverse. So deeper transformation is needed. The Scorpio card is the call, and the eighth house in reverse is this this psychological state, mind state of your belief in your own capabilities. So it's like fear and conditioning and childhood experiences, just like all these emotions and experiences from different spaces in time. And spiritual team is basically giving us the option to kind of alchemize those fears and take steps towards achieving whatever it is that we're supposed to be achieving, that we want to be achieving, that we desire to achieve, we desire to experience, we want to partake in, that is also aligned to our purpose or some form of being of service to others. And that can look like something as literal as like nursing, being a nurse, helping the sick, caring or catering to people. And that can look as service can look like painting, being a model, um, playing video games. It's just like whatever it is that your desire is, it will also feel like your desire. So those are the characteristics of what to look for in regards to this transitional period. Then we have the sun coming out in reverse, which speaks to self-expression, ego, creativity, identity. And then we have the second house on the right of that. This is the house of resources, material possessions, and values. Here is where we see our belongings, wealth, and finances, as well as the pillars on which material, intellectual, and emotional security is developed. I have. So, um, this with the second house coming out next to the sun in reverse, it's like a mix of your personal identity and how you value yourself in comparison to the types of experiences that you actually want to have. So it's giving courage energy, courageous energy, and I'm hearing the word profitable. Oh, yeah. So there's an aspect. This is spiritual. So it's kind of like when we think of things that we value, we might think of our possessions and our assets. But there is this treasure, there is this abundance, there is this money, there is this currency within ourselves that we all have. And that's going to be another characteristic um, of whatever this transitional period is for you. It's something that it has the same value as a material value, but it has to be used differently. So valuing your skills, your gifts, your desires, and knowing that they're going to lead to an abundant experience or an abundant, yeah, just an abundant experience that encompasses everything, whether it's money, manifestation, a relationship, whether it's free from debt, being financially free, whatever your personal goal is, it's going to add quality to your life. It's going to be good for your well-being. So the spiritual team is saying with the sun in reverse, right now we are still dealing with some insecurities and some self-doubt. And I'm hearing tactics, so it may be internal or external, where you're these triggers that are causing you to self-doubt. Um, but our spiritual team wants us to remind ourselves of what do we value in regards to whatever this thing is that we are kind of hesitating on, or we don't feel like we are completely secure, because everybody's about to start getting calls. So, um, basically to just be their most, not necessarily be their most, like they have to, it has to be a dramatic act, but actively um, communicating in ways that affirm your ability or capability to yourself, that you have a strong foundation, you know who you are, you're walking in an energy as in you're trying to make decisions that will at least complement your overall desires. So sometimes people will say that they want a certain thing, but then they're not doing the things or maintaining the attitude that they need in order to actually allow that to happen. So that's coming up. Okay. So the top of the deck under current energy is full moon, and the words associated says energy peak, harvest, blessings, achievement. Yeah, so a couple of readings ago, there was this energy of spiritual teams said our blessings are about to drop, and to maintain expectation for them and to create space for them. Maintain your attitude, your perspective, that would be in alignment to receive that. So feels like we're about to receive those blessings. Okay, just shuffling. So, towards the middle of the spread, we have the waxing crescent in reverse, representing inspiration, creativity, growth, accomplishments, learning. And next to that, we had the first quarter in reverse, making decisions, obstacles, taking action, momentum. Yes, that needs to be discussed for sure, because I feel like this transit feels like a very action oriented transit, but it's just not going to be physically. It's going to be mentally and spiritually. And we talked about in the reading previous to this one, um, we talked about what are we communicating in the many ways that we communicate, and who are we communicating with. So what are we communicating to others based on how we talk about our circumstances? How are we communicating with the universe when we make rash decisions, opposed to trying to ground and understand and to be in a perspective or mindset that you're always being taken care of, that things, you will always be provided for, um, Yeah, basically that is it. And I think that's very interesting because the color is red, or this orangish red, and our physical needs are that they are needs. So when we find ourselves in situations in the world, in the physical world, where we feel like our survival like trigger, where our survival instincts are starting to be triggered back up or brought back up, or like when we find ourselves like thinking out of a mindset of scarcity, that is going to be another characteristic of things to look out for in regards to this transitional period that everybody is going to be going through from now to the next 3 to 4 weeks. So when you feel like your survival is being triggered, I forgot the name of the movie with that guy, but it was Keith Stanfield, the one where they were like in the Jesus days, Jerusalem days. I forgot the name of that movie, but basically, um, what was he saying? I forgot. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, I don't know. Let me go ahead. So, okay. Oh yeah, he would say in the movie Hold Space, him and his mom would say that to each other, especially during the most intense aspects of the movies, like a mother having to watch her son get crucified, or a mother, she was like really concerned for him, and he was really concerned for her. He prioritized her in his life, and they would just worry about each other, but they always had this saying every time that things got really difficult. It's like they would tell each other to hold space. And I thought that was the sweetest thing ever. That's the sweetest thing ever, because it really be so hard during times like these transitional periods that's coming up for all of us, where it's just like you really low key be having every right to just give up sometimes. Like, that's something that I feel like more people should talk about, because it almost seems like, okay, so I'm just supposed to transcend everything. I'm supposed to just like, when that's how I feel when I see all these videos about like stop giving a fuck about what people think. And there's always so many people say, I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. And I'm just like, for real? I cannot. But I've been practicing though. I'm about to stop caring this year. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's about balance. It's about balance. But yeah. Um. Okay, so we have Aquarius in reverse. No, Aquarius is upright. Neptune is in reverse. The solar eclipse and the words associating is embracing change, revelations, courage, determination, connection. Trying to tell y'all, trying to tell y'all. In the previous to this reading, I made it private, but we were talking about how like we could like the challenge that's coming up, even the people that really be trying, you could slip up. You could slip up, and it's not do or die or anything, but it's kind of like you kind of want to pass the test, bruh. You kind of want to pass the test. It's important. This is kind of like the final. This is the exiting exam. Period. It's crazy how my reading always matches whatever lighting it's on, and I never really just pick the lights. I mean, I do throughout my personal life because I use that light all the time, and I'm always changing the colors on it. But I'm saying like it's never planned for my readings. I just be like, I just always use whatever lighting that I have, because I don't be trying to get up to change it. So this is definitely giving root chakra. This whole reading is root chakra. So our spiritual teams want us to like really get back grounded and recentered in ourselves very strongly and securely. This is also the energy of like things that we're supposed to be doing. We will really want to be making some moves towards doing them, and it can be the smallest step too. Spiritual team is not even picky about what we do. So, like for me, I have to start doing like I have to start practicing saying certain things out loud because that's going to help me be a better communicator. But me speaking out loud, sometimes depending on what the topic is, makes me feel very, very anxious. So when I'm in a state where I'm distraught or I'm emotional or I'm sad about something, I'm not able to speak. Like when I'm upset, I literally go mute. That is something that came from my childhood. So because I know that, I realized that I need to learn how to communicate even when I'm very, very upset, frustrated, because that's going to benefit me in the future. Because also, like, it's like, it's just not a good look, bruh, to do that. So I have to practice doing that, but even practicing doing it, it feels very triggering for me. So I know that I definitely need to apply pressure to myself in developing that because when I actually get faced with a situation, I can speak in a calm manner and articulate how I feel confidently. It feels just like that. And for me, it's just like in my center here, I feel very anxious. Like, should I say this? How should I say this? Like, how do I stay calm? So, whatever that feels like for you, there's something that makes you really nervous, almost like it makes you wonder if, I don't know, just self doubt comes up. Our spiritual team wants us to like practice on that every day, whatever it is. If it's reading more for you, like read something every day. It doesn't even have to be 12 pages. It doesn't have to be finish the book in a day or in a week or in a month. It's just like read something. Yeah. So, yeah, we have solar eclipse, embracing change, revelations, courage, determination, and connection. Heavy on the connection that we have with our spiritual team is going to be very important. You don't have to, like, just be any type of way. Like, be yourself. Talk out loud to your spiritual team because I'll be like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. No, I don't. I don't understand why this had to happen. I be like that. And they don't get mad about stuff like that. So I'm really big on questions, asking questions to yourself, asking questions to others, like being comfortable asking questions with integrity, asking questions um, all the time. So anything that can't be questioned, sus, sus. Because is the truth exempt from examination? Like, huh? Is the truth exempt from questioning? Like, why wouldn't the truth want to answer questions? So, oh my gosh, stop. Okay. Then we have the South Node. Period. South Node. Yes, it's feeling very familiar. It's feeling very, it's giving like outdated or it needs to be upgraded. There are definitely values in the journey, but it's time for something new. South Node says gifts and lessons. And that's exactly what it is. Gifts and lessons. I'm also getting that energy of, I seen a post was like, your ancestors didn't just leave you generational curses and trauma and um, something. It's like, I didn't think about that either. We also need to keep in mind that even though our families be messed up and stuff like that, um, I guess in a way everybody is doing their part or they're doing what they can, and they transfer to you gifts and talents as well. And we were talking about earlier valuing our self expression and our identity and who we want to be more authentically. Um, and that has its own currency. It has its own value. So we was talking about in a previous reading, like that's literally a bank account, but people don't realize it. And I was talking about my personal belief. I was just saying that I feel like everybody is born wealthy or rich, maybe not necessarily materially, but everyone has a gift, whether it's charisma, their personality, their athleticism, their speech, their looks, their movements, their perspective, their whatever they offer. Everybody has a revenue, a currency, a spiritual one that they have to tap into. And our spiritual team is saying you valuing yourself more, your identity, following your desires, everything that we've been talking about, that is you taking steps towards tapping into your spiritual reservoir, your spiritual abundance, currency, bank account. So with Sagittarius coming out in reverse and the 12th house upright, this is the house of intuition and the unconscious. Here is where we can see transcendent experiences, hospitals, prisons, secret agendas, and hidden enemies, as well as unknown possibilities and one's weaknesses. This house is also associated with long-term confinement, seclusion, and psychic abilities. I surrender. That is a very interesting energy, actually. I need to take a moment to understand it. I didn't realize that the 7th house came out also on top of Neptune in reverse. And the 7th house, this is the house of partnerships. Here is where we can see the personal relationships that involve commitment or cooperation of some sort, marriage, spiritual union, agreements, societies, and business partnerships. I relate. And with that falling on top of Neptune, which fell on top of Aquarius, this is giving the energy of everybody's going to have to kind of find their space. So there is this waiting period where it's going to feel like you're dancing by yourself and everybody else is watching. But it's going to feel like that for everybody, because basically this whole walk that we're doing, whether it's you're being authentic or you want to make decisions that are in your best alignment that is going to contribute to the foundation of your character, which will always be able to help you maintain your mindset regarding any obstacle, challenge, experience that you're having. A part of that is um, that everybody's going to basically be shining their light, but it's going to take a moment for people to kind of decide what they want to do. So basically, new groups are being created. So that's like leaving space for light, like who are going to be the new leaders. For me, I personally consider myself a spiritual leader. So if you consider yourself to be a spiritual leader of some sort, and that can look different for you, so definitely I hope that you have the wisdom to be able to identify that in yourself. I personally feel like everybody has some form of calling or pulling or desire. Um, Basically, everybody's gonna be getting the call, and when you get the call, you're gonna be entrusted to exercise the courage to display or express whatever this desire. Go for it, reach for it. Um, when we do, it's gonna be like everybody's going to be doing it, shining their light at different times, but at a consistent rate. And it's almost like people are, they know they have to do it, and it also helps seeing other people doing it. And it's just this energy of jumping into a cold pool or a cold shower. It's just kind of like, you know, you're going to do it eventually, but it's just that in between space between you actually do it. That's just like, some people really can't get past that feeling. And that's going to stop some people from being able to fulfill this. So honestly, it does feel like it is kind of late in the game to do like super cramming and working on things that you should have been working on this whole time. It does feel like it, like, because even with Mars being in retrograde right now, it's kind of like, even if you wanted to, you're not going to have as much energy as you usually do have to try to play catch up. But there are one or two solid or consistent practices that you can do to help you. So it's giving this energy of choose wisely what skills you're deciding to develop right now, between now and the next 3 to 4 weeks, leaning more towards the end of the fourth week. That's when we'll be finishing up, because it's giving final exams energy. So it's like a spiritual final exam. Um, so So you're going to need to pick one or two things that you're going to use to develop going into this transitional period. And I'm hearing my rights for someone. So someone may need to like brush up on what their rights are. Someone may need to communicate, be able to communicate what their rights are. Someone needs to be able to communicate effectively. Oh yeah, I've been getting elevator speech the last couple of days too. I've been getting business cards. I've been thinking the last month, like, I was like, dang, it's 2025, and I know I've seen where people basically create their business cards they have apps for that or something where they can share their business card electronically. But I'm thinking that most of the time people have to actually have, the other person you're sending it to has to have that as well, otherwise it's still useless. And I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if business cards are still a thing in the corporate world or in the world, or is it losing value? And I come to the conclusions that having business card on you on hand is definitely still very valuable. I don't think that you have to just like have 1,000 printed out or anything like that. I think it's something that we should have we should update regularly. Um, Depending on what our interests are and what we're doing or what we've accomplished. If someone just needed you, like what could you market of yourself right now? That's the energy. Also, I seen a video of, I guess, some paparazzis taking picture of Denzel. And in this particular video, he was surprised that there was a woman paparazzi person, and he was like, oh, you got the women out here too, because he was coming out the store and getting to his car, and he inquired more about her. He was like, so like, what do you want to do? What are you working on? What do you have going on? And she was just like, oh, I'm just taking pictures. He was like, well, what do you want to do? Like, what are your desires? Where do you want your career to go? Do you have a project going on? She was like, oh, like he was trying to help her out. He was just trying to understand more about her because he took an interest in her. But like, you know how there can be the same video go viral in different places, and then different people will latch on to different perspectives of the video. So I'm not saying this is the perspective, but in this particular comment section of this video that I've seen, people were focusing on the fact that he took interest in her and asked her, what is she doing with her life and what are her desires? And she didn't even know. And it was giving this energy of having fumbled the bag. Like, how many people and how many times do celebrities actually take genuine interest in a paparazzi? Like, most of the time they're annoyed by them, or not really trying to pay them attention. Sometimes they do though. And everybody was just feeling like, dang, like if Denzel asks you like what you got going on, what's your desires, what are you trying to make of yourself, and they actually showed interest, and you just don't have really much anything to say, like, that is like once in a lifetime chance, bro. And that made me think too, because I was like, I remember in high school they were talking about in my speech class, um preparing people for their elevator speech. So that's something that I want to revisit. But for some reason, the spiritual team, another aspect of this next challenge is that is also tied to us confidently expressing ourselves or speaking up for ourselves or partaking in something, is that um, we need to be prepared and confident, and we need to know who we are. So even if it's just your Instagram status, your Instagram, what's it called, bio link, maybe taking that more seriously, or evaluating, what do you want it to say? What does it say about you? What does it say about what areas or what subjects you're trying to develop more in, or that you have accomplished, or that you're able to provide? Definitely spiritual team is like looking at skills that are going to be offered as services later, very beneficial services, and it feels like it's very important, especially with the cost of living now. Spiritual team is encouraging more and more of us to cultivate our skills so that we can offer them as services as a means of vitality, personal vitality, um, and survival. Yeah. So we have that, and then we had, I think we had Sagittarius and the first quarter, making decisions, obstacles, taking action, momentum. So yeah, earlier I was trying to say that this transit feels very action based, but it's not so much as physical energy. Like, this is not the best energy to be having to run so many errands. If you're doing a job that requires you to go back and forth like this all the time, you're going to be very tired. You're going to be very drained during this period. And that's why spiritual team was saying, like, pick one or two things that you can do to help maintain your mindset and your integrity, your confidence in being able to execute this thing when we get the call. But don't try to do too much. Don't be trying to cram stuff in. Um, but at the same time, it's not physical exertion. It's like mental agility, keeping your root chakra intact, like learning how to deal with the tension of frustration, anxiety, so that when those moments arise, they don't overcome you. You don't get sucked in. That's the energy. You want to be and stay in a place where you're making more rational decisions. It is giving rational, even more so than spiritual. Like, you don't want to be in a box, like limited per se. Spiritual team is hoping that we kind of figured out that balance by now between structure and rigidity. So wherever you're at with that, that's going to be very important. It's too much. I'm done. This. So if you know that you are a reactive person, if you know you're a reactive person, gotta buckle down. Genuinely, genuinely. Don't like, you don't have to do too much. It's already final exam. Spiritual team says, like, they know that we already have anxiety about this anyway, so don't go overboard. But like, just know. But just know, opposition, complement, duality, dependence. Yes. So even in opposition, understanding the connection. If you're familiar with the houses of astrology, and you know about like the houses that are adjacent to each other, or you know about the meaning of the two houses that are directly opposing each other, they have they look at things completely different. No, they have a different perspective, but the same value. That's kind of how I interpret it. It's like Gemini, they like to fidget with little things. They take interest in things that they can use their hands for. So they may do pottery, or they may paint, or they may work on cars, or they may speak to people, or they may help other people with their speech. They are hands-on. They might help put something together or take something apart. Geminis, they are good with small talk. They are good with having a conversation with anyone. They are great at their mechanics of anything, whether it's a dance or it is the way they pour their tea, the way they serve someone. Their mannerisms are they have control, and they understand how every movement contributes to everything. And the Sagittarius is more spacey. They have their own ideas, their own beliefs. They have their own methods um, to interact with the world. But it's not so much vocal. It's inclusive of the bigger picture. They're forward thinkers. They want to know what is ahead, or they don't have boundaries regarding how far they could actually go or what they can achieve. So they're both very beneficial, and they have different approaches or focus. One's more like peripheral, the other one's more nearsighted. Both are important, but it's still about, like, everybody is literally doing what they can. And I heard this somewhere and I don't remember what it was, but was this idea that from the movie Titanic, I think someone compared life, the universe, or Earth, or whatever, everyone's greatest perception of what this reality is. They were saying it's kind of like we're all on the Titanic, or we're all on a sinking ship, and it's about what you choose to do during this time. So it's like we're all gonna die, we're all going to have certain experiences, we're all going to suffer, none of us are gonna make it out alive, that type of energy. So what will you choose to do with your time, even if we are in survival, a survival type of environment or circumstance? Another way I've heard someone say to look at it, which was Wences for INFJ personalities, she said that it's a harsh kind of practice, but another way is like telling yourself that nothing about your situation is going to change. Like, if nothing else about your situation was ever going to change, would you just like die, basically? Would you let yourself die psychologically and mentally and inspiration, creativity wise? Or will you choose to change your attitude? Because if the only literal thing that you could change was your attitude, if that was the only thing only tool that you had to yourself, um, had to your advantage, would you use that? But it's this energy of like a lot of people won't, and wouldn't, because sometimes it does feel good to be the victim. Sometimes it does feel good to feel like, dang, like my life is fucked up. There's nothing else that can be done from this point, because it takes away responsibility and accountability. If you have it in your head that there is absolutely nothing that you could possibly do to turn things around, that you're just doomed forever, that there's no way out, then spiritual team is just going to let you have that. They're going to let you be that. They're going to let you experience that. And they feel like, well, I don't know. They feel like you have to know. You have to know. And now I'm being referred to the root chakra. We've been talking about the root chakra this whole reading. Well, when I realized that we were talking about the root chakra, but spiritual team is bringing to our attention its connection to the third eye chakra. So the top versus the bottom, and how the top versus the bottom can seem opposing, like Gemini and Sagittarius on the astrology houses, but how they're connected. They're connected though. It's important. Their connection is important. And that fast, I forgot what I was talking about. Angels, guides, ancestors, God's first, same benevolent energies that stand in truth and power. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Yeah, so know how to market yourself. If someone were to ask you, like, what do you do for a living? Or, like, what are you into? Or where do you want to go? It's giving that energy, too, of someone, like, unexpectedly being taken on a trip casually. And the other person is just like, where do you want to go? And they have places that they want to go, but it's deeper in their subconscious. Like, they either haven't realized it yet, or they came across it just a few times and they noticed that they felt drawn to that location, but it seems so far-fetched from where they thought was what they thought was possible for the last 2 years, and they haven't really just revisited it. And now spiritual team is saying that our perspective is so important, that imagine if you met someone or come across someone, or an opportunity, and you were offered on the spot a chance to go on a trip anywhere you would like, or go to any location you would like, or go to any park that you would like, or have any experience that you would like, eat anything that you want, and you didn't have an answer for it. So your spiritual team is wanting you to think about that and to meditate on that, and use that energy the way that you would feel if you were to have experienced that, how you would feel calm, or you would feel relaxed, or you would feel appreciated, or you would feel like you were doing something, or you would feel connected to something, or you would feel inspired to do something else. Like, what would be your reaction? What would that experience be like? How would it go? Like, would they pick you up, or would you meet them there? Would you order this, or would you order that? Spiritual team is like, uh-huh. And like, you wanted to feel like, what? Oh, okay, okay, okay. And you said you wanted a green one or the blue one? Navy blue? Okay, oh, navy blue. Okay, okay, okay. Like, with this type of top and these type of seats with this type of material. Okay, so they want us to really like get into it and hold that feeling of how we would feel, but also the other stuff we talked about, the communication aspect of, if someone asks you on the spot, how much do you charge? Are you gonna, oh, well, I was gonna charge this, but then I didn't want to charge that because of that. And then, like, whether you say that verbally to them or you're saying it in your head, like, your spiritual team wants you to be prepared to say it. How much do you charge? And spit it out now. Whatever that, whatever that number was, if you cringed, if you flinched, if you was feeling bad, or you're feeling fearful, evaluate all of that. So basically, spiritual team is like, get clear, know your worth, prepare for responsibility, prepare to lead, prepare to take off. Like, we're coming to be picked up for the next mission. Yes. I feel like we're agents, low key. I feel like we're agents, and we just get the call. Like, niggas just be on call, bro. Niggas just be on call. Spiritually. Spiritually on call, bro. So yeah, then we have first quarter. Oh, we read that one. That was obstacles. Sagittarius. Did I still need to? So we have the 10th house that came out. I achieve. This is the house of fulfillment and social status. Here is where we see structures, cooperations, tradition, ambition, public image, and fame, discipline, achievements, recognitions, rules, and father figure. It is also associated with power and authority, as well as the people who exert them. I forgot to tell you, for myself, the last 2 weeks, I would say the last 3 weeks ago is when I first started feeling it, and I was just like, it's time for me to update my resume. I try to update my resume at least every year, but it's been the last 3 years for me. I've been updating it like every 6 months or so, just for it to improve on it. But I just had this feeling of like, I need to prepare, like I need to prepare my website. I need to edit my website, like, I mean, update it. I updated my website probably like, I update it pretty regularly, but it hasn't been this major of an update. But I just felt in the last couple of weeks like I need to update my resume. I feel like I just need to be prepared for something. And I also updated, what else did I update? Oh, I had to get some other just paperwork together, like personal information paperwork together. I don't know why I can't think of what I was gonna say. Oh, my resume. Yeah, I said that. My resume was one thing, and then updating my website was another thing. And both of those, I just felt like for some reason I really need to go ahead and have this ready, because if I have any interactions such as these, I want to be able to articulate on the spot, what am I doing? What have I been spending the last 4 years doing? For me, my last land marker is COVID 2020, March 2020. Because a lot of the stuff that I'm focused on right now are things that I have been focused on since that whole era, or end of the era. So it's definitely giving this energy of what do you have to show for it, for what do you have to show for it, for representing foundation, structures, square, stop sign, Saturn. We have Juno, sacred union in reverse. Juno. The sacred union is a representative of trust and your relationship with God, your relationship with the universe, your relationship with your spiritual team, your relationship with your practice, your relationship with how you navigate through life. Like, if you could describe how you have been navigating through life, what would that look like, or what would that sound like? Like, would it be like rushing, altruistic, unhappy, a dreamer? How are you navigating through life? Like, sober, numb, pessimistic? How are you navigating through life? delusional. I'm hearing interception or intercepted. So someone's taking away your confidence. Someone is taking something away from you. Or you are easily distracted. All that type of stuff, like being able to focus, being able to hold your vision, being able to be mature, being able to maintain your temperament, not be reactionary, being responsible, making slow decisions, being practical, slow to react. I'm hearing that is trusting that your body will tell you if something is really wrong. It's giving this energy of like, when people say like, how will I know if, and then the other person's like, you'll know, like you'll know. You don't need nobody to tell you. And sometimes that cannot be helpful depending on who you are, but it's giving this energy. Spiritual team is saying like, you'll know. And so it's kind of this energy of like, you're not gonna like have to deal with whatever your fear is. It's like whatever you're being called to do, it does take a lot of courage to do it, but it's not like you won't be okay. Oh my gosh, spiritual team be doing the most. I swear. I swear. Spiritual team is like, I mean, it's gonna be scary, it's gonna be intimidating, but I mean, like, you'll be okay. Sir, ma'am, no, this is not, like, y'all be trying to act like this is easy. Like, this is not easy. That's funny. But yeah, but like, for whatever it's worth or for whoever it's for, just know that, like, it's not gonna be like, I guess sometimes with us being more authentic or being more expressive, it can almost feel like our livelihood is at risk, or our reputation is at risk, or how others perceive us is at risk. I mean, it really is a dangerous thing to use your own mind and move at your own pace, because people try to act like it doesn't exist, but everybody does feel oppressed in some way, shape, or form, even if they're on the better half of the scale. Even the ones that are on the better half of the scale, they feel it. In the reading previous to this, spiritual team was talking about the air being thick and how everybody has gotten the call, and that spiritual team was also said, and we seen that you read it, so like there's no excuses, and the calls are about to be started, aka our transitional period that everybody's going to be dealing with between now and the next 4 weeks. Everybody's going to be called for that. And need to be ready. I forgot what I was gonna say again. Oh my gosh, I hate when spiritual team be doing that. It's so embarrassing. Like, don't be taking away my thoughts. Like, it wasn't even your thought. Okay. First quarter, making decisions. Okay, so we also have Cancer in reverse. Ooh, I'm hearing the word quitting is not, like, spiritual team said, do not quit. Like, do not quit. It's not even in no authoritative way, like, you're gonna receive some punishment if you quit, but it's just like, don't quit. Like, do not quit. Do not quit. Because in the reading previous to this, I was getting somebody me like, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. It's like they was doing good. That's the killer thing. Like you was doing good. You're doing good now. That's why the spiritual team was really, really feeling some type of way. Um, it's this energy of like you've been reprogramming your mind for something specifically in regards to your perspective so that you can put yourself in a position to expect more and thus be able to carry the weight that would be required, the weight or the capability or the ability to sustain it. Um, and some people are not going to be prepared. And I guess I pulled it up and it came back out, which was the 12th house. So again, this is the house of intuition and the unconscious. Here is where we can see transcendent experiences, hospitals, prisons, secret agendas, and hidden enemies, as well as unknown possibilities and one's weaknesses associated with long-term confinement, seclusion, and psychic abilities. I surrender. So anything that happens, anything that gets destroyed. I was watching Jurassic Park, the 2018 movie, and they were it became a social conversation between the government and the public of whether or not they should intervene with the dinosaurs and the volcanoes, like if they should try to make rescue efforts for the dinosaurs, or if they should allow it to be just what it is, an act of God. And not try to save them because that would be interfering with nature and what is supposed to happen. And so the message that is also coming through right now is this energy of spiritual team wants you to know, because the third eye and the root chakra do have some connection, that when we're talking about being triggered or being like being reactionary, obviously we know that there's a cause and effect. We understand that someone is maybe provoking us or something before we react, and we have been using that as a means or a way to justify our reactions. But our spiritual team is encouraging us to take responsibility, take more responsibility of our actions and reactions, and them not to be dependent so much on what someone else did or said to you. That you have already decided within yourself what your protocol is. So what is the protocol for you? What do you expect for yourself? What boundaries or structures can you create surrounding what you will agree to work through? What things what tools do you have in your emergency box? What have you saved? What have you forged thus far throughout the many lessons and obstacles and challenges that we've had the last 2 years? What have you made? What have you makeshift? What have you found? And those are going to be like emergency toolkits. So for example, like if you find yourself in a spontaneous situation where you need to act and say, I don't know, you want to be a first aid person, like is it important for you to know how to do the Heimlich maneuver, I think that's what it's called, or CPR for someone? Like would you be able to perform it if you needed it? If you happen to get stuck in the elevator with a person in your field or in a field that you're interested in exploring more, Would you be prepared? What would you say? How would you spend the conversation? What could you tell them about yourself that's relevant to their work, and how you may like to lend a perspective or make a connection? Resume, like, you need to be able to send, there's another aspect is like you need to be able to send the resume on the spot. You don't have time to update the email, you don't have time to change the phone number on there, you don't have time to make sure that there's no grammar issues on it or nothing. You're gonna have to send it. So imagine getting to this point and then having this experience, and you send them your resume because because the opportunity presents itself, and then you're reflecting on the interaction itself, and as a result you look at the resume that you sent them and it's got errors in it and certain things aren't updated. Like, how would you feel? Some people may not care about that, but it's just that energy of when you mistype something, or a word gets put in that you really didn't, wasn't trying to say, how annoying that could be. Like, you wish that you could just rewrite the letter over, but you can't. Instead, you have to send a little weird asterisk and hope that they put it together or apologize for it altogether. So spiritual team is like, be grounded and be rooted in who you are, what you're trying to express. Do not be reactionary. Take your time. Move slowly, methodically, I'm hearing. We have vertex, karmic point, synastry, fated connections, turning point. So yes, fated connections, heavy on that with the whole elevator concept. A random opportunity coming across you, last minute decisions, like I'm getting someone like deciding to hop on a bus or the next train for something, and they were not expecting that. So it's giving this energy of someone was planning to go see their family, or they were planning to move by March of 2025. Well, surprise, surprise, all the time, energy, and effort that this person has put into putting themselves in a trajectory, like they were projecting that they was going to be able to move March of 2025, and an opportunity is going to be presented to this person within now to the next 4 weeks, that is going to allow them to skip 6 months worth of effort, time, energy, and perspective. So imagine if, like, these are just examples that may or may not apply, but it's kind of like having needed to update your ID, but you haven't done it, and now you're being presented a free, like someone just like a family member, you can catch somebody or something, like they're going to help you move, or something's just going to work out like that so that you can skip ahead, but your ID is not updated, and because of that you can't even get on this free train ride or this free airplane ride or this free uh whatever form of transportation. But it boils down to, like, you didn't prepare. So for me, it was update my resume, update my website. For someone else, it might be their ID, it may be paperwork, it may be um, finishing a chapter of a book they were writing, or applying pressure on their poetry, something like that that required them to put it in or have it together. And something about this opportunity is like you're not going to have that much time to make a decision. It's giving like your uncle calls you tonight at 11:40 p.m. and tells you that, oh, they're going to San Francisco tomorrow by 6 p.m. They're leaving out at night at 6 in the afternoon. If you want to come with them, you can. They got a whole U-Haul and they got everything. And it's just kind of like dang, I wasn't expecting it to come in this way. I wasn't even thinking like that. Like I know I've been saying that I wanted to go or I wanted to move, but I don't know. Let me call and see if they're ready for me. Like you might have to make a few calls to see like what do you think? Do you think I should come there now? I wasn't planning on coming there till March. And they're like, I mean, I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be able to. I mean, you got this, you got that, and you like, yeah. Yeah, oh, I don't know what am I gonna do about this? What am I gonna do about that? And their friends like, shit, this place just opened up over here and over here. It's like, dang, like, do you think I should? Should I? And I'm like, yeah, girl, because we had just said that we was about to start doing this every Saturday, and now with you coming down, we gonna be able to whoop de whoop whoop. It's giving that type of energy. So it's kind of like really considering, and it's that energy of like, like we've been saying that we want this new change for a long time, and then when it comes, now you want to act funny. When I walk away, you want to talk smack. But when I come here, I forgot what that girl said. She was like, you want to be quiet. That shit was funny. So that's the energy turning point. Underneath that, I am the first house. This is the house of the self and identity. Here is where we can see one's personality, behavior, and character, physical appearance, as well as their attitude towards life. It starts with the sign known as the ascendant. I am. So, spiritual team says, like, start thinking about who you are and the direction that you're wanting your life to go and what you have accomplished, built, developed up into this point. And one thing that I want to say is like I had really got into creating resumes when I was in the first few years of my college career. Um, I definitely a firm believer like it doesn't matter what job you have worked. It doesn't matter what job that you have worked. You can make that sound very important. So give yourself more credit, understand, like think more deeply about what you have done, even if the experiences, the work experiences that you have are not really something like super glossy that you would like to see on your resume. Finding value in that is very important because it's also acknowledging your personal journey. Like our spiritual team says that a part of us feeling rooted in ourselves, who we are, how we express ourselves is in our identity and our past, our upbringing, our family, our triggers, our trauma. So our spiritual team didn't just give us, um, generational curses. They also had many beautiful gifts and many different ways that they've strived in our lives to help us have the opportunities that we needed. Even if that contribution was indirect. So it's giving that energy. Spiritual team is saying to be more grounded, respect your roots, respect family. Right now, pay homage to find appreciation for the work that you have been doing. Whether you were a janitor, or you were a stripper, or you were a drug dealer in the past, or you used to sell your body, or it's giving like even if yours is not that extreme, but even if it is that extreme, spiritual team is saying like not to be shameful of your past experiences. And if this was being exemplified in the form of someone needing to update their resume, spiritual team is like make that shit important. Like if you're a janitor, like sanitation, especially during COVID, post COVID, has been at an extreme all-time vital. Like y'all could not tell me that I was not superwoman if I was a janitor between now and 2020. Like if I was making tacos at Taco Bell, I have serviced many Americans like during post COVID, and people were hungry and fat as ever because people realized that they did not want to come out of their house, or I had to deal with a lot of delivery drivers. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, but it's just definitely the energy for spiritual team is like whatever you consider is valuable that you can offer to other people, it's gonna be important. Okay, so Taurus, in the resistant position, first house, series representing nurture. Yeah, so nurture yourself as we are answering the calls one by one, because we're all being called again to step up and shine our light. Um, it's very inspirational. It's very inspirational. We're all just going to be doing our thing, and it definitely is giving like spiritual war. The more that we give a little bit more pushback, or express ourselves a little bit more loudly, or take up a little bit more space, or improve our skills, gifts, talents, believe in ourselves more, take accountability more, all of that affects each and every one of us. Maybe at different times, but like we all touch each other through our actions in one way or another, whether we realize it or not. So realizing that connection that we all share, collective in direct opposition from the individual, that is understanding that relationship between the two of them. So we're all encouraging each other and ourselves to stand up for ourselves, and in being more self-focused, we I'm not sure if that's the right word. It can't be it can't be it can't even really just it don't even have a really good dispute. Like it's undisputable that the way that you treat yourself, the way that you focus on yourself, it affects everybody. So everybody directly benefits or indirectly benefits, or benefits at some point, space, and time from you nurturing yourself, taking interest in yourself, being self-focused. So for those people that feel bad about tending to themselves or doing something nice for themselves because they're always thinking of other people, definitely use that fact to your advantage, that taking care of yourself directly or indirectly or at some space and time helps other people as well. So you're helping people more than you're giving yourself credit to by helping yourself and loving yourself and focusing on yourself. But yeah, that's the reading. Aside from that, I definitely enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. Um, Again, if you would like to contribute to my readings, you can do so by visiting my Amazon store, or you can visit my website where you can leave a contribution through Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, whichever one is most convenient for you. But least of all, if you like this message, I will know that the message has been received as well. And I do thank my angels, guides, ancestors, God, God source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank Bye.